Hi, hello. Well, as Alicia said, this has been a long trip in the literal and real sense, but we are here today together. And I am really happy to be here because it was a long year preparing beautiful stories. I can say that in some months we got to do all these interactive stories. We are working with reporters around the world, and we are trying to do a slow journalism, trying to focus in people, using technology to explain ideas. And this is one of the beautiful stories that we are going to publish in the next month. And well, if you look at the map, this is the countries where we are currently working. We are working in Mexico in a story about communality. We are working also in Brazil about behind the fires. We are working in Zimbabwe in a story about hospital detention. We are working in Pakistan about a new law about transgender people and how transgender people are living after this new law. We are working in Afghanistan with an amazing photographer, Fatima, who is trying to show the new generation of women in Kabul. We are working in Sri Lanka in a new story about biopiracy. And while we are doing amazing things in Syria, in many countries, and we are doing everything together. So let me explain you how we work. Thinking about this presentation, I was thinking about the process and how do we choose the topic, and I think that there are 3 steps that always work. One is go deep, go farther, and go east and south. And let me explain what I mean. Go deep is easy. For instance, when we started to work about the story about Brazilian forests and the fires, as you probably know, in August, the fires in Amazon captured the world attention, and all the media around the world published the beautiful, impressive pictures about the Amazons getting burned. But what happened some days later? Everybody forgot about it. So we started to work with we started to discuss with some reporters in Brazil, seeing how to explain this story. And we start to work with a photographer who is based in Amazons. His name is Gabriel Uchida. And we were collecting a lot of data. We did a small crowdfunding because we have to cover a lot of trips to go there. And we tried to explain what is happening behind the fires. Amazon has some fires every year, but this year was special. So he managed to interview some people in indigenous territory, Urueu, I hope I'm going to say fine, and trying to interview people about deforestation, about illegal mining, and he even got to meet illegal logger and seen what is happening in Amazonas, why it's burning. And I say also that how we work stories, we try to use what I see is 3T. We use technology, we use time, because I think good stories needs time on the field, time researching. We prefer daily life than daily news. And we use technology to explain things. Here, for instance, is a story that we recently published about vaccines and fake news. And we try to answer the questions that people have, because we cannot say that people don't have questions or concerns about vaccines. And if you go to the website, you will see that if you click every virus, you can reply all the main concerns that people have. So we use technology, we use time on the field, and we use team, because all the stories that we did it together and with amazing team. So let's start to how to manage remote newsroom. As Alicia said before, we are a team with reporters around the world. I am based in Sri Lanka. I am from Spain. I am working for a Polish media. So I think there are two things that are really important. The first one is communication when you are far. You need even more communication when you are in a newsroom. And the second one is tracking task, because sometimes when everyone is focusing in their main task, they don't know really well what the others are doing. So you need to communicate a lot, and you need tracking the task. This is one of the last stories that we published about Sri Lanka and the 10th anniversary of the Civil War. And as you will see on the website, if you click to the text, you can have sounds, videos, pictures, everything to explain with technology. So this is how we work. We have regular meetings with the whole team. We have once a week. We meet everyone. We try to explain what we are doing. We try to get feedback for each one. And later what we did is organizing the team in subgroups to discuss ideas, to brainstorming, to discuss how we are going to produce this topic. And we usually use Slack for easy communication with these subgroups, and we use Zoom to talk every week with all the team. And later what I said, tracking tasks is really important to see every week how things go. If someone is reporting in Zimbabwe, the rest of the team to communicate what is happening and how we are doing. And the culture of support. I say again, when you are far with distance, you need the support of the team. And I can say that I feel that Outriders is a family. And even I am really far, I feel that I can explain everything, that we support each other. And finally, meeting in real life. I think at least once a year or twice a year, we need to meet and to talk, because finally, technology is important. But there is another ways to be together, like today here. And this is one of the stories that we are doing together using technology, and it's a special one. In October, after the Turkish offensive in the Syrian border, we decided to cover on the field with a Syrian reporter what it was happening. So Masoud Hamid, that is the reporter who is in Syria, told us that the best way of communicating it would be WhatsApp, because it was faster. And this small way of communication changed the way that we are reporting. Because now we are using WhatsApp to explain what is happening in the Syrian border. And what we felt is that when you write a story, you try to use beautiful words to describe what we have here. But when you use WhatsApp, you explain what you are seeing, like if you are talking with your mother. So we create a beautiful podcast, bilingual podcast, using WhatsApp to cover what is happening in the Syrian border. And Masoud, every day or every 2 days, send us information. For instance, if he attends to a funeral, if he attends to a school with refugee children, he explains everything by WhatsApp. He sends pictures and videos. And this is one of the results of this cross-border experience. I don't know if we can hear the sound. No.
Northern Syria. There is a woman who cries next to a gravestone. Her name is Amina. She cries for her deceased son, Agid, who was a soldier. We came to see him, to see my son here, Amina says. I come to see him every Thursday because I will never forget him. I used to come here sometimes to support the mothers of other martyrs, but I never thought I would come here for my son too. I tried to see him in my dreams, but I did not get it. I don't want to forget him. I want to hug him. I want to feel him. I miss him. I miss his laughter and his friendship and his jokes. But I still tell him, may God be with you. There are 3 children who were born and they were called Agid in honor of my son. There will be thousands of Agid. When I see these children, I always think of him. As I come here, I think that he will be in front of me. However, we go in and out alone. Every time I tell myself that this time he will come back with us. I don't want to cry in front of him. He never wanted me to cry or cry in front of his friend.
So as you can see, we are getting to report what is happening there, but the way that we are using WhatsApp is changing the way of telling the story, because it's not sometimes it's not something that you plan. Masoud is traveling around a road and he sees, for instance, that there is a Russian car arriving, so it's really quick and yeah, it's real life, it's daily life. So how do we do it? Masoud is in Rojava territory in the border with Syria, and I am in Sri Lanka. Martin, Jacob, Jagors, they are here in Poland. Masoud sent the WhatsApp in French. I translate from French to English. I sent to the French version here to Poland, and finally we produce a bilingual podcast. Probably you recognize the voice. Jacob is the voice of this Rojava diary. Yeah, I invite you to follow this podcast because there are so many things happening there. And sometimes we are too focused in the daily news that we forget that, stories is about people. And these people, this mother crying for her child is not a number. It's a person there. So this is one of the last episodes of Rojava Diary.
November 12th. We are in the Armenian Catholic Church of St. Joseph in the Kurdish majority city of Kamishli in northeastern Syria on the border with Turkey. Dozens of people gathered to pray for an Armenian Catholic priest and his father who were killed by ISIS yesterday. The trumpets of a youth orchestra played to say goodbye to the deceased. Father Hovsep Bedoyan was the head of the Armenian Catholic community in Kamishli. Yesterday morning, him and his father, Abraham Bedoyan, were traveling to Deir ez-Zor, the largest city in eastern Syria, to inspect a church which had suffered damage during the war and it was being restored. They were traveling by car when unidentified gunmen ambushed their vehicle and they were shot dead.
So what I say, I have 1 minute only, but what I would like to say here, everyone, reporters, media organization, readers, we have a huge responsibility to inform, to tell what is happening around us. I think the power of being together is so important. And before finishing, I would like to tell you that there will be basket, sorry, in the entrance that who wants. There are some pictures that Gabriel took in Amazon's, and well, it's a way of working with technology and with working with printed photography, so we can take it later. Thank you so much, everyone.